You're welcome back. Thank you very much. This is Newsfile and is brought to you by the kind of sponsorship of Lipton Tea, inspiration flowing from nature. Now, how do you respond to the question that I put to you, that someone said, you have betrayed my vote?
Not at all. The NDC has been consistent. The other alternative was that free education now, immediately, in the midst of the challenges that prevailed at the time. They said that by 2013, they will have implemented free senior high school education.
They would have begun.
They will have begun implementing whatever you want.
Precision.
Whatever you want to say. They will have begun the implementation. In that context of 2013, President Mahama is saying
you didn't say it is only possible 2014, 2015.
President Mahama is saying that the 2015-2016 academic year, we will begin the progressive introduction. You know why? The access argument still holds. President Mahama had his eye on the 200 senior high schools that he promised. He's cutting the sword on Monday, 2 days from now. He knows that by August 2015, the first batch will be ready because these contractors have a maximum 18 months to complete. So the first batch of 50 at least will be ready by August 2015, if you calculate 18 months from now. So by September 2015, which is the commencement of the academic year, we have additional 50 senior high schools, at least, though our projection is that we will have more than that. So it is clear from President Mahama's calculation that he has been consistent. So to that voter who says that, oh, NDC, I was with you on the quality access argument, you seem to be betraying my vote. Not at all. We are still solid with the quality and the access.
So you answered Kweku's question
and there's a second part of my answer.
Access and quality would have been resolved.
Will have been resolved because Nana Akufo-Addo did not talk about additional senior high schools. He said, and even if he talked about it, he could not have constructed them by 2013 when he was going to implement it.
He showed what will happen. I just read it.
So it is clear. It is clear that ours is substantially different. It's well thought out. And we have to remember, and sometimes people think that Ghanaians have short memory. This whole promise was thrown out there. You remember when the media started asking, what is the cost? They were all over the place. I remember BBC Hard Talk interview. It became a major discussion point in this country when Stephen Saka, the host, asked Nana Akufo-Addo. He said, oh, we have costed. No, I won't tell you. He was swimming all over the place. And then he finally, please. This was after. This was several months after.
But this was
several months after.
It doesn't matter.
No, you are talking about why do you think that the NDC won the debate by eventually winning the vote and winning the election? It is because there was a certain credibility deficit.
Oh, come off.
You could not tell us the cost on BBC Hard Talk to the Ghanaian journalists after even now. Do you know that even after the announcement by President Mahama in the State of the Nation address, I have engaged MPP activists and they've all given different figures. I engaged Mr. Jacob Echivilamte on this same network, and he put out 78 million.
Yeah.
Gabi Ochidakun has put out a Facebook post in reaction to President Mahama. He puts out 750 million. Then Professor Jambafo has also said 150 million. So even the credibility deficit is still there.
70. Gabi goes step by step.
Gabi's post is there. You can make reference to it.
Ready here with his
there have been several articles
to deal with that
on Gabi Ochidaku's post. He doesn't go any step by step. It's here. I have the post here. He said Akufo-Addo's free SHS will cost 750 million Ghana cedis. You can read it. It's here. You know,
you're looking Ghanaians in the eye.
Yes, so I'm looking Ghanaians in the eye.
And telling them
I'm coming to the second part of my argument.
In the 2012 campaign, you told them that you believe in
quality access first.
You believe in free senior high school.
Yes, we said that. And this is the evidence. I hold here the 2012 manifesto, Advancing the Better Ghana Agenda. Very glossily, beautifully outlaid manifesto. And what does it say on second cycle education? Page 17.
Someone 17, yeah.
Page 17. It says that first, secondary, senior high school. So the major policy thrust will be the attainment of universal access to secondary education by 2016. Universal access. So the 200 senior high schools in mind. In pursuance of this goal and the increasing number of students at this level, The NDC government will increase infrastructure facilities as follows. 1. Construct 200 new community day high schools across the country with emphasis on districts where there are no such schools. 2. Provide capitation grant to all students in the new community day senior high schools to be built by government. 3. Increase the subsidies currently paid to existing secondary schools with a view to reducing the burden on parents. 4. Aggressively expand infrastructure, including classrooms, dormitories, laboratories, and teachers' accommodation in existing secondary schools to enable them absorb the increasing numbers of qualified candidates. Continue the rehabilitation of science resource centers. Strengthen the computer school selection and placement system. So it's here. We outlined it. We never said we are opposed to free. How can we be opposed to something that is in the Constitution? The 1992 Constitution makes it very, very clear in Article 25, 1b, that secondary education in its different forms, including technical and vocational education, shall be made generally available and accessible to all by every appropriate means, and in particular by the progressive introduction of free education, unquote. This was 20 years before Nana Akufo-Addo talked about free education. That is why yesterday at the University of Education, Winneba, President Mahama succinctly put it as this, that the last time I checked, Nana Akufo-Addo has no patent, no copyright on free senior high school. It's in the Constitution. 20 years ownership. Before. So this claim that, somebody is hijacking, somebody has stolen, ownership. No, I mean, listen to the NPP communicators, even their newspapers, accusing President Mahama of some theft of a sort. Okay. I mean, which is totally out of the window.
Now, we were talking about where, for example, you are reading your own constitution, your own manifesto,
yes,
which appears to have a certain organized, posture when it comes to that question and answers it nicely. But Koko asked you the question.
Yeah.
What was that vehement opposition about? Because in the 2012 campaign, it was obvious that the two parties were divided on the question of free senior high school.
Yes.
The NPP insisted that that is the way to go. And that was its, trump card. The NDC's trump card was quality and access.
Yes, I mean, we still remain vehemently opposed to Nana Akufo-Addo's program, which was not well thought out. We did not have any agreeable figure. All of them, depending on who you speak to, were putting figures all over the place, and it is still going on today. As I pointed out to you. 3, it did not have access.
What you're saying is
where you have a situation.
What you're saying is
let me conclude. Let me conclude. Where you have a situation where, in Nana Akufo-Addo's argument, he had no reference to the fact that our current infrastructure, the number of schools, takes only 60%. Ideally, it can take only 60% of the products from the junior high school. He didn't appear concerned about that. We said that no, that would be dangerous. You will collapse second cycle education in this country. First things first. Deal with access, deal with quality, before you come to the affordability question.
Okay, Gabi Asare is bringing something to your attention. He says the figure I quoted included the cost of additional dormitories, classrooms, etc. on the first full year of the implementation. In any event, Akufo-Addo's figure have been overtaken by inflation and depreciation.
There you go again.
And I'm asking, when you say it is the Akufo-Addo senior high school, free senior high school that you are against, does that include this? And Nana Kumia is going to refer to this very strongly to you subsequently. This is a publication which is entitled, I Will Resist Free Senior High School, Ablakwa. And it says, a Deputy Minister of Information, Okudzeto Ablakwa, has sternly opposed the free senior high school SHS policy of Nana Akufo-Addo, stating that, quote, the NPP leader wants to collapse education in Ghana.
Yes, and I have said that here. So a few seconds ago.
Is there a difference in what you are proposing now and what Nana Akufo-Addo was talking about?
There is a big difference. I'm telling you that by September 2015, the first batch of senior high schools will be ready. Nana Akufo-Addo's plan did not have access, expansion of senior high schools. He didn't talk about that. It was not in his road. That is a substantial difference.
But they have
a
all
substantial
that
departure.
It's here. This
It was. You
question
could
of education, infrastructure, education, expansion and improvement.
This was.
It's all here.
No,
but
it's
that's
not
the party. You are telling
does
us
it
this
precede,
is your party
does that precede?
manifesto.
No.
And this is the.
No.
It's immaterial. This is what they would have
It is
worked
very
with.
material. No. Please, let's not engage in intellectual masturbation.
Okay.
We know.
I like that.
We know that. This is after the fact. After you have made it free, then you are talking about. We stated clearly that before you do progressively free secondary school education, which is in Article 25 of the Constitution, get your basics right. Address the fundamentals, your access, your quality,
and
before
those
you come
things
to
have
free.
Been resolved?
Yes, they will be resolved by 2050. That is why President Mahama did not announce that he's starting immediately, as Nana Akufo-Addo said.
Okay.
He is starting in 2015, by which time he's cutting the sod on Monday.
We don't even have
he's cutting the sod on Monday.
We've cut sods all over this
I
country
mean, the contractors are already on
happened.
site. You know that construction has begun? The construction has begun. If you go to Nyanwa now, Nyanwa in the Upper West Akim district, you go to Bomprogo,
for projects that never
the
materialized.
equipments are on site. I'm going
Not
there
just
right after
this
here.
Government. Many governments.
No. This is not one of those short-cutting gimmicks.
Just hold on briefly.
Our program is entirely different. You hear Gabi now talking about inflation and other things. I mean, they were rejected because there was no credibility. It was clearly seen as just a vote-catching measure. It was not well thought out, that is why the good people of this country
during the elections chose, and it's becoming a tradition.
Quality
the
access
NDC
first.
has always had this platform it calls setting the record straight, and it also issued a statement and spoke about the NDC's educational policy being more competent and well thought out, in contrast to the NPP's free senior high education.
Fantastic.
This is Kwesi Edu-Asare, also of the Kojo Edu-Asare of the NDC, also made this statement in the heat of the elections. He says that the party's position that free SHS is impossible and unrealistic. That was the party's position, the NDC's positions, according to him. And I'm quoting him. He says, free SHS is impossible and unrealistic. Now, the question is, what is your problem as the New Patriotic Party? If this was yours, given that it was yours, and you wanted to implement it, you have a government that may not have bought into that policy, that now finds that it is good, let's do it. What is your problem?
No, I have a problem with your question, Sam. That is not what we have
said. If.
No, but it
conditional.
sends the wrong signal.
Conditional.
Okay. Well, if you said if, then
Samson, your question, should the NPP have a problem if the NDC is implementing a good policy? We should not have a problem. The reason why we have a problem is because of the things that Sami, despite all the evidence that has been thrown at him, still maintains that they were against Akufo-Addo's program of free SHS. We all know that was not the case. They were against the concept of free education. What you quoted, the Minister for Education, Okran, what you yourself quoted.
Now, when you say free education, you'll be wrong, because the President, John Mahama, spoke about free basic education.
That's what I'm saying. No, free secondary school education.
No, he spoke about finishing that part of it first. He said, finish that one and then take care of the rest.
I don't want to say the president.
That's the candidate. He's the candidate.
I don't
we
want to
can't
say
finish because I have more.
It's been hypocritical. I don't want to say
you have said that.
But you see, if the president said that what the basic is the free basic school, the basic school is not free. So what business has he then got talking about free secondary school? Because as we speak, the basic is not free. So if he is going to be consistent...
I find this interesting because the NPP said it was free. When you were in power, you said it was free.
You still have capitation grants.
This is revealing. This is breaking news.
The government cannot even pay the capitation grants.
This is breaking
news.
The
small fees at the basic level that will allow them to buy chalk and paper. The government is not paying. So schools reopen. And that's Sami Okudjeto's watch. And for 2 months, people cannot go to school. There's no teaching because there's no money to buy chalk because the government hasn't paid the capitation grant. So if you haven't paid capitation grants, what business do you have talking about free secondary school education? But the bottom line, something like all that you've read, is that they were opposed to the idea of free That's why they went and brought Reverend Otabel's tape. Look at what...
please, for the records, we did not. That was Education Watch.
But you
please.
bought it.
Please.
And applied it.
Please,
Sam,
for
I
the
don't want
records.
to call you hypocritical.
No,
Stop this
please.
Education
This is
Watch.
your business, or I
You
don't
were
want to, and
paying...
yet
What,
you
what
have.
were you paying for it for? What were you paying
Who
for
paid for it? You see, Education Watch will sue you if you continue this way. I will not be surprised if they bring a civil action against you.
You give they give advice to Kweku Bako. Kweku Bako hinted where the payments came from.
From where?
I can tell you.
How can you know where payments are coming from?
I can tell you
How do you
categorically.
find
Kweku Bako is laughing
How
at
do you find
I
that?
can tell you categorically that some of the payments to radio stations they were carried by people from your ministry.
Of course.
Oh, please.
Of course.
Please.
Where's the evidence?
Oh, please.
How can you say? Which Ministry of Education?
Information. At that time, you had information. Look at it.
Please.
So please,
Please,
Samuel,
I mean,
cut that out. Let's have a
I
serious
take strong
debate.
exception.
So
to this.
something. I'm further to what you've read from the Minister for Education at that time. I'm going to read to you what the vice presidential candidate at that time and the vice president, Emi Sata. Emi Sata went to Kede in 2008 and he said that free secondary school education is a subtle way to destroy quality of our educational system and is to allow cronies of the NPP to establish private secondary schools for monetary gain.
And in
Since
2008,
it's a
Nana
party
Akufo-Addo
for
was talking
property
about
democracy.
free.
Yes. Now, Emi Sata says that
I was
free...
following him at the time, so I know.
Yes.
At that time, most of his campaign platform, he still spoke about free.
It's
But he wasn't talking about senior.
It's a cherished aim of the NPP to have free secondary school. I mean, look at the social policies that we brought. The health insurance, the LEAP, and all of that. It's a cherished aim of the NPP to have this social protection. And education is the biggest social protection that you can have. There's no bigger social protection tool than education. So it's always been an aim of the NPP. Now you have Emi Sata saying that, oh, this free thing is only to collapse the system so their cronies can establish secondary schools. This is the vice president at that time. The Otabel adverts. They brought one advert where a woman went to school and so they say, oh, you can't admit you because we don't have classrooms, we don't have science resource lab, and they were actually using our money. That's why you have the deficit, which is collapsing the city. These are the things they use our monies for.
Again, you see, these are allegations that you ought to be backing with hard facts. You're just making them.
Samson, you had a deficit of 8.7 billion in an election year. Most of it incurred in the last 3 months. In the last 3 months of the year, what were they using the money for?
The finance minister has given the breakdown.
The equivalent of 8.7 billion Ghana cedis. It's equivalent to over 4 billion United States dollars. That's what they spent.
The finance minister has given the breakdown.
That's what they spent the last 4 months of 2012.
Oh, please, Nana, you can do better.
For over $4 billion. Now, Samuel Kujato is talking about with access. You see, the assumption is that if you do free, there's going to be a huge... There are Ghanaian children lurking about in some hidden places, and when you say it's free day school, all of them will rush to school. That's what they are saying. You said you build 50 secondary schools in 1 year. You couldn't build one.
We never said that.
One.
We never said that.
In your own budget, paragraph 406, you said you build 50 secondary schools. One will cost 3.46 million cedis. That's what you put in your budget, 50.
The president told you why that was delayed, because they needed to do a good job at the end. But the preparations were
Sami can even
ready.
give you a better excuse than the president. I'm saying to you that you stated, the president stated, the finance minister stated, before Parliament, and gave the costing. They couldn't build. If you build 40.
He said those who were charged with it were ready to go on with it. He asked them to hold on.
For what?
Because he wanted to make sure that things were being, done in a certain coordinated
And it
fashion.
took him a year. That was the project that he appointed the so-called 3 wise men. Experienced ministers, Abambak, Beniti, Mesa, Avoka. And for 1 year, he was doing what? Wanted to make sure they were doing it right. I mean, if you build 40 and you said that, there was some problem, you couldn't build one, single one. Now, he says quality. Look at the results of the BEC. Look at the results of the secondary school. They are falling. I'll give you some statistics. I'll give you the last 4 years, the 8 years from 2005 to 2012. 2005, the pass rate for BEC was 61.5. 2006 was 61.9. 2007, 61.28. 2008, it went to 62.16. Passed before BEC. 2009, NDC first year, it dropped to 50.2. Second year of the NDC dropped to 49.1. Third year of the NDC dropped to 46. So from a height of 62, we are 60, 61, 60, from 2004 to 2008. Immediately came to 2009, dropped to 50. Then dropped to 49, then dropped to 46. Then in 2012, they adjusted the marking scheme, and then jumped to 99.5. You remember? And then when they brought the marking scheme back to the normal base, 2013, it came 52. Let me ask Sammy a few questions. He's now at education. Sammy, in 2009, did you change the grading system from best 6 to best 5? And in 2010, did you change it again from best 6 to aggregate of best 4 core subjects plus 2? Did you do that? And in 2012, did you remove D as a pass, as a fail, and make it a pass? Because if you did this, then the way you are toying with education is going to spell disaster. But the charge that NPP didn't talk about additional secondary schools. Nanado talked about building an additional 350 community schools. It's all in there. The evidence is so overwhelming.
After the fact.
The evidence is so overwhelming that it's difficult. And you see, there shouldn't have been any debate if the NDC had said, listen, the president, if he had said that, yes, we're not too sure about this policy. We've had time to reflect upon it. We believe that we can do it. We want to start it this way. That's all. The whole nation would have come together. But when you see the way they are going on, led by Samuel Kujeto, it's funny. And you're not going to get people coming together to bring their ideas on this matter, and it will be a political game. The promises they make, they cannot fulfill. And then they keep making bigger and bigger promises. What Samuel was talking about, the president talking about procurement. You know, procurement, when the procurement authority was established, it was headed by a technocrat. When the NDC came, they removed the technocrat and brought in political cronies, Salas Mensah and Obimpe, to head the NPA. And for the last 4 years, 5 years, the sole sourcing has been over 80% of the contracts.
Jesus Christ.
When we were in Parliament for the last 3 years, they couldn't present a report to Parliament. Meanwhile, the law says that they should present a report to Parliament every year. You take political appointees to go and head the procurement authority, and we are surprised that contracts are being done sole sourced.
These are very serious allegations that you make.
They are not facts. Let me state for the record. Let me state for the record. Please. I need to quickly correct this. Let me state for the record that I have checked the annual procurement reports of the National Procurement Authority since its inception. Sole sourcing has never exceeded 10%. I know that for a fact. So please, sole sourcing is not more than 80%.
You don't know what you are talking about.
No.
And where's the report to Parliament?
I'll let you have copies.
In your desk.
I'll let you
Instead
have
of
copies.
coming to Parliament.
Please.
Why can't they bring the report to Parliament?
They have sent the report.
Where is it?
Sole sourcing has not exceeded 10% since the inception of the procurement authority.
Stop.
Let me state that.
Can I bring that document here? Let's all see and interrogate.
Let me state that another untruth, let me be more diplomatic, is that the results that you have put out are not accurate. I contest those BEC results. I wanted to respond to that when you held a press conference earlier, but I was not in the jurisdiction. I would put out a formal statement. Yes, I contest those.
And what are
I've checked with
results?
WAEC, it is not accurate. So
what are the accurate ones?
Thirdly, let me say that in terms of the quality argument, expenditure on education, the MPP GDP contribution to education when they left power was 5.8%. By 2012, it had gone up to 8.40%.
And what is
our GDP contribution on education?
Does it include the schools and
we are now the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. South Africa, I have their 2010 figure, which is 6%. Burundi is doing 5.8%. This I'm listing the highest ones. Gambia is doing 4.1%. Uganda is doing 3.3%. Others are very low. Let me also state that on December 5, 2012, the NPP put out a tape and a statement where they claimed that President Mahama was flip-flopping and that he had promised free education. You see, my jaw online, December 5th, 2012. Tape, Mahama promised free SHS in 2008. And
what was your reaction
NPP,
to that?
And you can Google it. Yeah, we confirmed it.
I
said
remember.
that. Yes.
You did?
And we said that President Mahama has never opposed, but he has said, let's do things first. Let's do certain things first. Quality access, then you go to free. So, with barely 48 hours to the crucial December 7 post, a tape recording on which a voice said to be that of President Mahama, then running mate for the late
No, we are not disputing this. So
yeah,
you don't
you're not
need to read
good.
it. Yeah.
Good. So, since you are not disputing it, and this was put out by Mr. Ohini To, a former General Secretary. He put out the tape on this platform. Now, the point has to be made, Samson, that this whole opposition to this argument is not because Nana Akomia and his colleagues are interested in the quality of education, the future of education in this country. But they are only worried that what they thought was their last desperate vote-catching measure has been taken away from them. That is why they are crying wolf. All of this is not. It's not about. It is not about
that this has been done because you want to secure 2016.
Oh, please.
So it's politics.
No, we know that 2016 is secured because we have a superior record.
Do you know that? No. Please kindly put your foot down.
30 seconds.
And let your panelists stop this back and forth heckling thing. Okay, the same propaganda is going on at every radio station you listen to. Okay, you're not too happy about what you say is the same rhetoric. Emmanuel Osei, Sibe, Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, Rai Samson. On President Mahama's Facebook wall in the 2012 elections build-up, it read, free SHS is a misplaced priority if primary school pupils still pay fees. Let's make primary free first. I spoke about this earlier. Yes. Ganiu writes, if the NPP had intended to implement the free HSS to the benefit of Ghanaians and not as political gimmick to win power, why are they now criticizing instead of joining hands to implement that same policy? Oliver says, in regards to the introduction of progressive free senior high school by the John Mahama government, the question is, what has changed in this short period of his reign as a president, when we all know his stance on this in this regard? Jesse Boakon in Mamprobi writes, if free education is stated in our constitution, for which the NPP used as their campaign message in the 2012, and the NDC heavily criticized this policy as fake campaign message, they are now telling Ghanaians to believe in this policy. Fear the NDC and save your life. Sabatu in New York says that the free education announced by President John Mahama is just a diversionary tactic. Well, there are quite a lot of people who feel that the NDC is not being straightforward or is not being candid and straight as far as this matter is concerned. I'm sorry, but we have to end. We have to end
here. The split nature of their messages. On an organized platform, it will look different.
Right.
In the field, it tells a different story. Okay.